Nothing about us without us. Older Youth Permanency Matters. Hello, my name is Anisa Evans, and I am the Older Youth Initiatives Manager. I live in Indiana, and I work for the Indiana Department of Child Services. My professional motto is passion with a purpose. As a servant leader, I desire to serve and lift up my staff by empowering them to perform at their best. I also want to ensure that all youth we serve grow and develop and have permanency and transition successfully into adulthood. With 19 years of service with DCS, I have always had a passion for working with teens, older youth, and young adults. My purpose is to ensure each youth in out-of-home care has an opportunity to be engaged in their permanency plan and make a successful transition into adulthood. When I talk or present to youth or young adults, I always lead with this quote to inspire them to use their voice. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the one who'll decide where to go. That's by Dr. Seuss. The book is Oh, the Places You'll Go. Today, as I take you through my action research project, I will introduce my topic, go over the literature review and background, provide to you my PICO, go over the methodology and my intervention, and provide my evaluation and its results. Beginning in 2012, the Indiana Department of Child Services adopted extended foster care, which DCS calls collaborative care. The collaborative care program is designed to assist older youth as they're aging out of foster care with the opportunity to re-engage into placement and supervision while they're completing their transition plan and executing their goals. And Indiana provides these youth with supports and services as they engage in services and age out of foster care. I want to share with you a story about my early years as a family case manager and how permanency really stood out to me for older youth. I had a young man on my caseload who we'll call Mark. Mark was a very exciting young man, I'll say. He had been in foster care for over 5 years, and he had turned 14. And it had come to the point to where we were over our time limit with permanency, and we had to think about what were the next steps for Andre as we were not able to reunify him with his parents. In that, I had to go and talk to Mark about his options, Andre, about his options as we were thinking about what should be done about his case. In my conversation with Andre, it was very clear to me that Andre really wanted a family. However, as some say, behaviors really had gotten in the way of him developing a really strong bond with his current foster family. So in my discussion with Andre, he kept telling me how much he wanted to be in the family and how much he did not want to age out of foster care. And as we begin to think about other people that his past family and other people that he may know, he brought up an aunt who lived in California. And so in my time, I was able to find his aunt and connect them. And right when Mark turned 16, he was able to have an adoption or guardianship with his aunt. And so with that, I'll say that it wasn't easy. There were a lot of things and barriers that were in our way, but with persistence and me listening to what Andre wanted, I was able to move forward with finding him a forever family. So that was the first time I really thought older youth voice really matters when we are trying to develop permanency for our youth and young adults. The background. Indiana adopted the extended foster care program in 2012, which we call collaborative care. The issue. So what is the issue, you might ask? There seemed to be an increased frequency of youth having a plan of APLA, aka aging out, without family-based permanency. APLA means another planned permanent living arrangement. Important. Why is this important? Because older youth deserve family-based permanency and an opportunity to develop permanent relationships to increase their outcomes as they emerge into adulthood. In the beginning of my research project, I conducted a literature review on older youth permanency. During the review, I found that much of the research talked about how important it was to engage older youth during their permanency plan. The Child Welfare Information Gateway states, child welfare agencies should continue to support legal permanency for older youth through reunification, adoption, and guardianship. They also state that child welfare workers should help youth explore their legal permanency options and relational permanency. I also found through my literature review that engagement and empowerment of youth in foster care can have a powerful positive result for young people seeking permanency. And also, child welfare staff should partner with youth during the permanency planning. As a part of my research project, I conducted background research and data collection. I reviewed the Indiana permanency data, youth whose case closed due to family-based permanency, and non-family-based permanency for youth 16 through 18 years of age, before and after collaborative care. Family-based permanency is defined as youth whose case closed out with a family due to reunification, adoption, or guardianship. Non-family-based permanency is defined as youth whose case closed due to them aging out of foster care, which we call emancipation, with a case plan of APLA. As we look at the data, you will find that in family-based permanency, through 2008 and 2011, 66% of our youth aged out of foster care. And through 2012 through 2020, 64% of our youth aged out with family-based permanency. This data, based on this data, we see that there was a 2% decrease in youth aging out of foster care since our enactment of collaborative care. When you look at the non-family-based data, you will find that 34% of our youth aged out of foster care through non-family-based permanency between 2008 and 2011, and through 2012 through 2020, 36% of our youth aged out of care with non-family-based permanency. Based on our non-family-based permanency data, you will find that youth increased in non-family-based permanency since the enactment of collaborative care. Based on my research on older youth permanency, I conducted a case manager permanency self-assessment. There were 53 case managers that completed the self-assessment. 43 were family case managers, 7 were collaborative care case managers. These case managers came from across our state through Lake County, Stark County, Allen County, and Marion County. The case managers averaged about 4 years in their current position, and they averaged about 5 years being employed with DCS. Based on the results, the family case managers completed the permanency engagement self-assessment sometimes have youth on their caseload between the ages of 16 and 18. And they indicated that they often have conversations and explain permanency to youth by holding meetings and discussing barriers. The FCM permanency engagement self-assessment also revealed that many FCMs indicated they often engage youth around permanency by often explaining permanency options and ensuring youth attend hearings. However, when you look at how many explain the legal process or have youth-driven child and family team meetings, many indicated often or sometimes. Going back to the title of this presentation, Nothing About Us Without Us, I had to include youth, voice. I achieved this by conducting youth discussions and a youth work group. The youth discussion was held during a lunch with leader. Lunch with leader is when we have youth from across the state attend a lunch with our director of the agency, Terry Stigdon. Youth eat their lunch and they're able to have open conversations and dialogue with her. I attended the meeting on January the 11th, and during that open dialogue, we discussed youth permanency and we asked youth questions such as, did your case manager talk to you about your permanency plan? And did you understand what your permanency plan really meant? I also conducted a work group with our Indiana Youth Advisory Board. We had 2 sessions, and in the first sessions, I conducted a training on Indiana's extended foster care program, which we call collaborative care, and I did a training on what a SWOT analysis is. On our second day, the Indiana Youth Advisory Board completed a SWOT analysis. We looked at the strengths, the weaknesses, and opportunities of the collaborative care program and of the Indiana Department of Child Services permanency process. Based on youth voice, the youth recommended the following. Youth wanted to be fully engaged during their permanency planning process and have their voices heard through youth-driven child and family team meetings and a youth-driven court report. 2, you should be provided with resources and tools informing them of their permanency options. And 3, FCM should receive training on authentic youth engagement. Based on the Indiana Department of Child Services permanency data pool from 2008 through 2020, there was a 2% increase in youth aging out of foster care with non-family-based permanency since the adoption of extended foster care. Based on the youth work group and the youth discussion during lunch with leaders, youth reported not feeling engaged during the permanency planning. And based on the FCM youth engagement self-assessment, FCMs reported to youth speaking to youth often or sometimes about their permanency plan. My research question using PICO. If family case managers working with youth 16 plus years old in foster care are taught to authentically engage them during the permanency planning process, will they be more likely to help youth understand the benefits of exiting care to family-based permanency, with the ultimate result being more youth achieving this outcome? Now I will take you through the methodology of my action research project. 1, the first step, I conducted a literature review. Step 2, I did a data collection, which I call my background data. Step 3, I conducted research. I did a FCM self-assessment, and I did a work group, a youth work group. Step 4, I developed the intervention and conducted the intervention with FCMs training on older youth permanency. And step 5 was my evaluation, which was a pre and post training survey. I will now discuss my intervention. My intervention was to develop an FCM training on permanency and youth engagement. My training was called Art of Youth Engagement. Specifically, this training lasts about 6.5 hours with 11 case managers who volunteered to participate, and the training was in person. My training objectives were to understand the framework of authentic youth engagement, understand how to engage youth during the permanency planning and court process authentically, and to apply and utilize the art of authentic youth engagement in permanency planning. The next step was to evaluate the training. My evaluation strategy was to conduct a pre and post training survey. Pre-survey to measure current knowledge, post-survey to measure knowledge after the training, and to measure the degree to which participants are likely to apply what they learned. The results of the evaluation. Before I review the results, I would like to note that 11 participants completed the pre-survey and 8 completed the post-survey. This is due to unforeseen circumstances which caused three of the FCMs to have to leave towards the end of the training, and they were not able to complete the post-survey. Therefore, you will find that 8 only completed the full training. The results of the pre-post survey showed that the participants had a high understanding in the following areas after participating in the training. 63% of the participants had a high understanding of authentic youth engagement. 100% had a high understanding of how to discuss permanency with older youth. 86% had a high understanding of the importance of involving youth in their permanency planning, and 88% had a high understanding of how to have youth participate in their permanency planning meetings. Based on the applying and utilizing results of the pre-post survey, the participants indicated they were more likely to apply and utilize the following. 88% stated that they would apply and utilize authentic youth engagement framework in the permanency planning with youth. 100% indicated they would utilize strategies for helping youth understand the benefits of exiting care to family-based permanency. 100% indicated they would apply and utilize discussions with youth about permanency, and 100% indicated they would apply and utilize strategies to attain relational permanency. Part of my PICO question asks, will FCMs be more likely to help youth understand the benefits of exiting care to family-based permanency? Based on the key findings of my intervention post-survey evaluation, after the training, FCMs reported being more likely to engage youth in the following areas: permanency planning meetings and permanency court hearings. After the completion of my action research project, my next steps were to share my results with the Indiana Youth Advisory Board, share my results with my agency, and seek ways to continue authentic youth engagement training for staff. The MPLD fellowship has impacted me personally and professionally. Personally, overcoming imposter syndrome. Now, I feel that I am worthy and capable to be in spaces with others, my peers. And 2, increasing self-awareness. Now I'm more aware of my thoughts and feelings, and I am able to take care of myself when I need to ensure I can do the best work possible. Professionally, I'm able to build trusting relationships, better trusting relationships. I'm able to use data to inform decision-making and strategic planning. And I am encouraging innovative thinking in my employees. Completing my action research project enhanced my passion and purpose to increase the well-being of youth and young adults. Please remember this quote from a youth: "Nothing about us without us." Thank you.